Yeah. So the simple answer to Servant Stage, what is Servant Stage? It's a both a performance art, a theater arts company, and a theater arts education company. It's a nonprofit organization.
It's time for Company Profiles with your host, Paul Chase.
I want to take a minute to thank our heroes. As a realtor, I understand the importance of finding the perfect property for our everyday heroes. That's why I'm committed to helping first responders, military personnel, healthcare professionals, and teachers save money on their real estate transactions. I believe in giving back to those who serve our community, and that's why I offer special discounts and services to these heroes. Whether you're looking to buy or sell a home or invest, I'm here to guide you through the process, ensuring you get the great. Whether you're looking to buy or sell or invest, I'm here to guide you through the process, ensuring you get the best deal possible. My goal is to make sure the real estate process is as seamless as possible for our heroes so they can focus on what truly matters, serving our community. If you're a first responder, military, healthcare professional, or teacher, let me help you save money on our next real estate transaction. Contact me today by reaching out to pa-heroes.com. Welcome to Company Profiles. I'm your host, Paul Chase, and today I have the pleasure of speaking with Andrew Zahn from Servant Stage. Good morning, Andrew.
Good morning, Paul. Happy January winter day to you.
Thank you. It's Monday, so Monday sets the tone for the week, so I think Monday's the best day of the week, and it's way underappreciated. It gets a bad name.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, why not keep it positive?
That's right. So, Andrew, tell me about Servant Stage. What is Servant Stage? What do y'all do? Tell me about it.
Yeah. So the simple answer to Servant Stage, what is Servant Stage? It's both a performance art, a theater arts company, and a theater arts education company. It's a nonprofit organization here in Lancaster, PA. It was started in around 2013. So we've been going for about 10, 11 years now.
So tell me about the productions that you put on.
Sure. So I first got involved in Servant Stage through those productions. We started out many, many years ago, around 2011, 2012, by entertaining folks in retirement centers. The idea was that a lot of those folks weren't, because of accessibility issues, weren't able to go to theaters. So the founder of Servant Stage, Jonathan Bauer, thought, maybe we could take some entertainment to these folks. And they did some musical theater performances, just some songs and dances and stuff to bring smiles to people's faces. And then over a year or two, they realized that this little group of people were onto something, and that there was definitely a need for that here in the area. And from doing just a few songs and things, they started producing those productions that you mentioned, generally musicals, oftentimes plays, and they're all of the family-friendly variety. Most recently, we did The Sound of Music, which is, I mean, everybody knows The Sound of Music. And this year, we're doing Anastasia, we're doing Tuck Everlasting, we're doing Fiddler on the Roof, really cool show called The Marvelous Wonderettes that is just hilarious. So a lot of musical productions is what we do. So we take these two churches to schools, to parks, to retirement centers, and then we also have larger productions that have a larger set, larger costumes and such, where we'll lease out a performance space here in central PA. Performance spaces at high schools, performance spaces at colleges and such. And Sound of Music that I mentioned, we had 14,000 people attend that. And maybe one of the most unique things about our productions is that we don't charge a set ticket price for any single ticket. So all the productions are pay what you will.
Wow.
And so that's the two-pronged uniqueness of Servant Stage. One is accessibility, bringing theater to people. And then the other is, if we're leasing out a large space or things like that, making sure that we remove cost as a barrier for people to attend theater.
That's great. And I know I just this morning purchased 2 tickets to Anastasia.
Oh,
So
thank you.
it'll be our date night for the week. But
Oh, great.
now tell me a little bit about, because I saw that Anastasia it's at the Leola Elementary School, so that goes into what you were talking about, doing productions at churches and schools. So, but I
Yeah.
also saw that, is that a youth production? Do I have that right?
It is a youth production. They've already started rehearsals. I believe they started rehearsals maybe 4 or 5 days ago. And so you're going to see folks that are maybe in the age range of 10 to 18 in that production.
Okay.
And our youth theater programs, sometimes they're called, the productions themselves are called camps, just because it's often a truncated rehearsal period. Anastasia itself will have 3 or 4 weeks of rehearsal, but some of these youth productions, they will start rehearsal on a Monday, get cast in the show, like without even knowing their part, work on it throughout the week, and then do 3 or 4 performances that weekend, six
Wow.
to 5 or 6 days later.
I
Yeah,
bet you
it's
the
really
parents of
something.
these kids love you for what, every night's a rehearsal night?
It is in the summertime. It's a 9 to 5 type of schedule, but
Okay.
yeah, during the winter, it's intense. And these folks are the wonder of our area here in Central PA is that we have so many professionals that have worked at, we have 4 or 5 professional theaters in the area. And so there's all of these professionals that live here, myself included, that can direct these shows, that can choreograph these shows. And a lot of these folks have Broadway credits. They have, some of them have worked at Radio City Music Hall and such. So this youth theater program, they get to work with people that what it's like to work in theater and equip them. Some of them go on to a career in the arts. And one of our friends, his name is Brendan Cameron. He kind of grew up at Servant Stage over the last 8 or 9 years. And he's currently in a show on Broadway, Hadestown. He understudies the male lead in that show. So we're really, really proud of Brendan.
So that's great. I want to explore just the kids program a little bit. How does somebody get involved? You call it a camp, and I know you said that there are rehearsals from 9 to 5. That's a full-time job in and of itself. So
Yeah.
tell me more about, how does somebody who says, I've got a kid that exudes showmanship or whatever,
Sure.
how do those people get involved? What are they going to expect?
Yeah,
Tell me
that's a great
more
question.
about that.
And I know where you're coming from, because like my wife and I, we're theater people. We get it. We understand all the ins and outs of this. But like, if you come from more of an athletics sports family and your kid is interested in theater, you're like, where do I start? What am I supposed to do with this kid? And what I would encourage you to do, at least with Servant Stage, is we have a program that's drop-in theater classes. They are pay what you will. They are every Monday night from February through just before the holiday season. So we run about 50 or 60 of these classes a year on Monday nights. And it's a way for kids to kind of dip their toe into the theater world and try out maybe a dance class or an acting class or a stage combat class. We have these professionals that I mentioned teach these classes. And if you can't afford it, please come. If you can afford $5, that's okay. Wonderful. We'd love to have you. And that would be a great introduction to performing arts to see how much you like. As far as the camps go, there is a sign up and there is tuition. So the camp is not pay what you will. The camp has a tuition, but even that's on a sliding scale. There's 3 different payment options. One is I need half of my tuition covered, and they just sign up for it and they pay half the tuition. The middle one is paying the actual cost of what it costs for Servant Stage to put on a production like this, to get the costumes, the sets, the staff. And the third option is for those folks that maybe want to pay a little bit more to kind of help those folks that might not be able to pay as much. Then I should say we also have a fourth option. If you need a full tuition, that's my job, because I'm in development, to make sure that we get those programs funded so that if somebody wants to be part of a program, that we would never turn them away for financial reasons, and we never have.
So you brought up you're looking for business development and donor development. Let's go down that road just a touch. Tell me about
Sure.
how somebody says they go to a show, they say, wow, this is something I can really get behind. Now what?
Sure. Thank you for asking that question. Of course, the guy in development. Oh, somebody's asking me a question about what, I really appreciate that. So yeah, just rewinding slightly, when all of our tickets are pay what you will, sometimes I get asked a question, well, so what is the ticket price? What is your average ticket price for those that aren't able to pay something, anything at all, and those that are able to pay 40, 50 bucks a ticket, whatever. It shakes out to $8 to $10 a ticket. So if you've been to any other theater in the area, I don't care if it's just a community theater, you're paying at least a bare minimum $20 or $30 a ticket, much less the professional theaters. You're more like $70, $80, $90, $100 a ticket. So how do we make that work? Well, if somebody is interested, obviously they can, after every show, there's an opportunity for them to give either via credit card or via cash. We have cast members that are standing there collecting. And then if somebody owns a business, we would love for them to consider a sponsorship. And it's a way that a business can get their name out to over 45,000 people a year. That's roughly our audience, and it grows by about 5,000 a year. So we'll probably have about 50,000 people a year. And depending on the levels of sponsorship, basically from bronze to platinum, we will promote your business on our website and our playbills and from the stage, from big screens, in exchange for you sponsoring a show. Sponsorships start as little as $2,000 and go up to $7,500.
Wow. Okay. So who makes a good sponsor for that?
Oh gosh, well,
Is there any kind of demographic that goes into that, or is it pretty well just across the board and whoever feels so moved?
yeah, I mean, we have some service organizations, like we have a roofing and a solar company. We have a toy store, because we have a lot of kids coming to our shows. We have all the way up to larger sponsors like the Hershey Company. Thankfully, they sponsored us last year, and we're hoping they'll sign on again this year. When you think of the cross section of our audience, gosh, when we did an audience survey a few years ago, we've got a third of our audience makes less than 35,000 a year, and a third of our audience makes over 75,000 a year. So when somebody is thinking about their business and who their target person is, we have just about everybody in our audience. So I would say service personnel all the way up to large companies that just want to invest back into their community. Great organization.
Okay, cool. Now, and I want to make sure that we're clear. Not all of your productions are by kids for kids. You have adult. I'm thinking that I'm having a hard time picturing Fiddler on the Roof as a kids production.
We're doing a sound. We're doing a Sound of Music Junior, if you can imagine. Okay. But the kids love being able to play those, those roles that they've seen, and the performance is all the book or the text of the performance is altered slightly to fit youth a little bit more in those youth productions. But you're right, and so we do have Anastasia that you're going to attend later this month. That is a youth program. Fiddler on the Roof, Tuck Everlasting, Marvelous Wonderettes. These are performances where really there's spots for the youth, but they're going to be working alongside seasoned professionals, and they get to see professionals learn a role, rehearse a role, and perform a role. And it's kind of a mentorship opportunity for those that are in the youth theater programs to work with the pros. Gotcha. So yes, you will not see a Tevye that is, 15 years old in Fiddler.
Okay.
I don't think. We haven't cast it yet, but I don't think so.
Okay, great. So tell me how you got involved. What's your story?
Sure. So my story is I moved to Lancaster County 1,000 years ago in 1999, different century. I moved here to work at a theater called Sight and Sound, huge theater out in Strasbourg. Loved working there and have worked there off and on for really the last 20 years. I most recently subbed in as a performer at a production in 2019. So that's what brought me to the area. And then I fell in love with the area. I met my wife at Sight and Sound, and we worked a few other places. We worked in Gatlinburg, Tennessee. We worked in Portland, Oregon, but we always ended up moving back to Central PA because the community here is just fantastic for performing arts and fantastic place to raise a family. So after I probably performed professionally for 10 to 12 years. Like that was my main income. But then we opened a window replacement company. We owned that for almost 10 years, and I missed performing. It really is my first love. It's my community. It's where my people really are. And so I was looking for an opportunity to like kind of get back into that while selling windows. And I heard of Servant Stage, and I auditioned and got cast in a play, a Sherlock Holmes play in 2015. Got to work with a lot of friends who I had worked with prior in my years at other theaters, Sight and Sound and the Fulton Theater and such. And so that was my introduction. And then I think I performed in maybe 5 or 6 Servant Stage shows over the last 9 or 10 years. So that's kind of the history. And that is a really common story. My story is very common to folks in this area. I remember this fall, I got to just be in the lobby and greet people, them coming in and coming out of the shows. And folks who had seen a Servant Stage show for the first time were like, we weren't sure what to expect. We thought this was a community theater production. Where do you find these people? I mean, these are professional performers who like really know what they're doing. And that's just a testament to the heritage of this area. Theaters like American Music Theater, Fulton Theater, and Sight and Sound, bringing the talent to this area. Yeah. So that's a little of my story. And I do think it is very common to a lot of the other performer stories as well.
That is great.
Yeah.
Andrew, how do people get hold of you if they want to go see the play, what's coming up? If they want to, if they want to participate and sponsor an event, how do they reach out to you and find you?
Yeah, of course. So the best way, modern age is to just go to our website. It's real simple, servantstage.org, SERVANT stage.org. And there's a bunch of different tabs. You can click on Get Involved. There's a servantstage.org/sponsor if you're interested in sponsoring. You can fill out a form, and if you have just a general interest or want to learn more, I'd be happy to have coffee with folks that are local. If they have questions about any of our programs, questions about sponsoring. And if you want to get tickets, I'm assuming you probably did that online as well.
Yes.
You got, and all of those tickets are pay what you will. So you can do almost anything online, but we like to also have a personal touch. So feel free to reach out if you like, and I would love to chat with you.
That's great. Andrew Zahn from Servant Stage, thank you so much for taking time out of a Monday morning.
Thank you, Paul. Thanks for your interest, and thanks for doing these series so that folks can learn about all the great organizations that are here in Central PA.
Thank you.